video, I'll walk you through creating a New Year accrual entry for the Chelsea Fire Department. We're going to start by navigating to January 1st of 2018. Go to Options and select Date, 1/1/18, and we're going to find last year's earned vacation leave entry. We're going to edit it so that we open it. We're going to go here to either Memorize, or we can go to Form and Memorize as Template. Both get us to the same place. We're basically taking a snapshot of this. We're going to call it New Year Accrual Entry. When we save this, it may tell us that one already exists, because if we've been using this year after year, it will exist. And yes, we want to overwrite it. This will just overwrite the copied version, like copy and paste. This will overwrite what we have copied. It won't change the existing entry. It may ask us if we want to then look at our the properties of the template. If you say yes, there's really not much information in there. You can just enter no. It will just tell you what it saved for each person, and there's really no usable data in there for what you'd want to have. So you could just say no, and then we can close that activity. Now what we want to do is we want to create a new activity. For January 1st of next year. If there is anything on that date, we want to just create a new one. We don't want to open the one that's in there. Do earned vacation leave and click yes. And now we have a blank activity. Now we want to apply all of last year's values. That'll enter all of our people in and the values that we had in for last year. Then what we'll need to do is go through changing those. So let's go up here to Recall, or to Form and Apply Memorize Template. Again, both do the same thing. We'll see the Memorize template we just saved, and we'll click OK. It now is taking and adding the 400 and or so activity participants into the system. This is next year's entry. We can actually save that for a second, but we're not going to close it, because we're now going to figure out what those entries should be. We're going to go to Reports, Chief's Office, Budget Reports, and there's two reports that we have in here, the New Year Accrual Entry Detail and New Year Accrual Entry Report. Let's take a look at each of those. The Detail Report, if we run this for last year, so we're going to run this for 2018. This will tell us what we're calculating and how we're coming up to the carried and new values for both sick leave and vacation leave. This will run us through, tell us what everybody started with for the year, how many they'd carried from the previous year, how many were adjusted, how many they used, how many they were paid for, and what they had remaining. Anybody that has a star means that they're either going to need to have an adjusted value or they're under the amount that they need. And I would suggest running this and making notes of anything that needs to change, at least on the carried vacation leave into the next year. The next column that's highlighted will be their carried sick leave into the next year. And then over on the right, we have their new sick leave and their new vacation leave that they'll be earning based on their years of service. Anybody that has a star next to it means that they were eligible to double their vacation or their sick leave, but they used more than 3, therefore they did not qualify. In this example, you'll see we only have 8 new sick leave with somebody who's been here a year, but that's because they used 10 in that year. Again, down here, somebody's only earning 8 because they used 9. And that's what this report will basically show us. From here, we can just print this report and save a copy of it. It will tell us how we got to specific amounts. The New Year Accrual Entry Report will basically take those same 4 columns, carried, remaining, for both sick leave and vacation leave. We run it for the exact same date range. And this report will match up with exactly what's entered in the report. So if we take this report and print it, you'll see that this report is actually in the same exact order as the activity that we created. So Acosta's first with CSL, CVL, ESL, EVL. And these numbers here will tell you what needs to change. Anything that's highlighted, he went from 166 to 156. Here he went from 0 to 1. But on his earned sick leave and his earned vacation, there were no changes. Those do not need to change. So if you print this report and utilize this to fill out the new activity, you'll be all set and good to go.